Get this. Uh, Scientists have created these miniature virtual reality headsets, and get this, they're from mice. Yeah, you heard that right, MouseGoggles. It sounds like something straight out of a sci-fi movie or something. But this is actually a pretty big deal in research. We're gonna dive into why it's such a big deal, what it means for like understanding the brain, and get this, even how smartwatches play like a surprising role in all this. So buckle up. This is one deep dive you won't want to miss. You see, for a long time, scientists have been limited in how they study mice. Like, if you wanted to understand how humans navigate like complex environments, you wouldn't just watch them walk in a straight line, right? Well, traditional mouse studies were kind of like that. Treadmills, uh, simple mazes, like basic computer screens. These tools just couldn't capture the richness and complexity of the real world, and that limited what we could learn about how the mouse brain like processes information, how it makes decisions, how it controls behavior. But these tiny VR headsets, they're nicknamed MouseGoggles. They change everything by immersing mice in like a 3D virtual environment. Scientists can now create these incredibly realistic and engaging experiences for them. Imagine being able to precisely control what a mouse sees, hears, and even feels. Like, this means researchers can study how a mouse's brain reacts to a predator approaching, for example, in a safe and controlled setting. Or they can observe how a mouse navigates a virtual maze that mimics the challenges of a real-world environment. The level of detail they can capture is astounding. And the really clever part is that these headsets they're built using off-the-shelf parts from smartwatches. Yeah, those tiny high-resolution displays, they turned out to be a perfect fit for mouse eyeballs. Talk about creative thinking in science. But it gets even more interesting when you see how the mice actually respond to these virtual worlds. In one experiment, researchers simulated a predator approaching the mice in VR. And guess what? The mice wearing the mouse goggles, they actually jump back in fear, just as they would in real life. This tells us that they weren't just passively watching the screen. They were truly immersed in the experience, and they perceived the virtual threat as real. That's a huge leap forward in our ability to study how the brain processes like complex information and generates realistic behaviors. And it's not just about observing behavior. Mouse goggles, they also allow scientists to gather like an incredible amount of data about what's happening inside the mouse's brain. Like sensors in the headset, they can track everything from neural activity in specific brain regions to subtle changes in like pupil dilation and even tiny whisker twitches. It's like having a window into the inner workings of the brain as the mouse is navigating this virtual world. Now you might be wondering, like, okay, mice jumping in VR is pretty cool and all, but how does this actually help us?
Well, understanding how mice react and adapt in these controlled virtual environments, it gives us these incredible insights into how our own brains work. Think about it. Mice and humans share a surprisingly large amount of genetic and neurological similarity. So by studying how mice process information, learn new skills or respond to stress in VR, we can gain these valuable clues about the fundamental principles that govern our own brains. This has huge implications for understanding and potentially treating a whole range of neurological disorders. For example, scientists could use mouse goggles to study how Alzheimer's disease affects like spatial navigation and memory in mice. Imagine being able to create a virtual environment that mimics the disorientation and confusion experienced by people with Alzheimer's. Researchers could then use mouse goggles to observe how different treatments or therapies affect brain activity and behavior in these mice, potentially leading to breakthroughs in our understanding and treatment of this devastating disease. But the potential applications, they go far beyond just disease research. Mouse goggles could also help us unlock some of the deepest mysteries of the brain, how it creates consciousness, how it processes emotions, how it forms and retrieves memories. These are questions that have puzzled scientists for centuries. And the ability to study them in such a controlled and detailed way with mouse goggles, it could revolutionize our understanding of what it means to be human. And this is just the beginning. Researchers they're already working on making the mouse goggles even lighter and more mobile, allowing the mice to move around more freely in their virtual worlds. And there's also like exploring ways to incorporate other senses like smell and touch into the experience, creating even richer and more immersive environments. Like imagine mice like running through a virtual forest.
It's incredible to think about how far we've come in our ability to understand and interact with the brain, from simple mazes to these incredible virtual worlds. Yeah, we're constantly pushing the boundaries of what's possible, and the insights we gain from this research, they could have profound implications, not just for treating diseases, but for enhancing our own lives. Think about the possibilities of virtual reality for humans. Imagine immersive educational experiences, therapeutic interventions for anxiety or PTSD, or even virtual travel to far off lands. The mouse goggles may be tiny, but they represent a giant leap forward in our understanding of the brain. And as we continue to explore these uncharted territories, who knows what incredible discoveries and innovations await us. So the next time you slip on a VR headset, remember those tiny mice, like leading the way, helping us unlock the secrets of the brain and paving the path for a future where the boundaries between the real and virtual worlds, well, they become increasingly blurred.